All right, we are back. We are back. Look at that native chicken. Beautiful little chicken hawk. Oh, William wanted to know, shout out William, he wanted to know about health insurance in the Philippines. So we're going to talk about that today. And hopefully I can cover that for you guys and you know what to expect. Health insurance is a big problem in America. So we can't really consider life in America without health insurance because the health system in America is so screwed up, so complicated, and such a damn mess that we can't fathom not having insurance in America because it'll destroy you. It'll destroy your any bit of money that you have can be eaten up with one sniffle. If you had to go to the ER, for example, and wait 8 hours to be seen, and then be seen and get a $5,000 bill for 5 minutes with a doctor. Um, so let me just dispel any kind of concerns you may have that pretty much anywhere in the world outside of America, you can self insure. So, by self insure, I mean you take all the responsibility for your healthcare needs without insurance. You pay yourself, you pay cash. It's just America that has the problem. Other countries that are developed, they have universal health care. They take care of their people. You break a leg, you go to the hospital, you get it fixed for nothing or almost nothing. I've seen this firsthand. I was in Belgium for a wedding. One of the wedding party broke his arm and went to the hospital. Came back 3 hours later with a cast and zero bill. Now I don't know what they pay in taxes there. It's probably pretty high, but this is an area where America has really let us down. Um, and the Affordable Health Care Act is something, but it depends on how much you made the previous year. They want to see your tax return. So I left Kuwait with a fat tax return, was unemployed, and tried to get affordable health care, and got the quote was $2,000 a month. And I said, well, I don't have any income, so I can't pay $2,000 a month for health care. I got zero income. Can't help you, sir. Talk to Medicaid. I'm like, all right, I can see where this is going. So maybe if you went unemployed for a couple of years and didn't have health insurance, you could get affordable health care. I don't know. I never got another quote. It was a waste of my time. But here in the Philippines, you can get health care. You can get health care from PhilHealth, which is a government kind of run situation. You can get it from other healthcare providers. What is it? I can't think of the name, but it'll come to me. The kid is on a third party provider, and he pays 30,000, or we pay for him 30,000 pesos a year, and they cover up to 150,000 pesos per year. So that's the difference too. In America, there's unlimited coverage. For the most part, they can't legally they can't put a limit on how much they cover, and they won't cover pre-existing conditions in other countries either. In America, they'll cover you with a pre-existing condition. So, for example, I had Aetna, just a hospital plan, when I came over here to the Philippines, and I was paying like I don't know $200 a month for this hospital plan, and it's basically just for emergencies. And they dumped me because I got a colonoscopy in Turkey, and I submitted the stuff to them because it cost $4,000. I'm expecting them to pay some of it, and they came back and they said, "Okay, well, why did you get this colonoscopy?" And I was like, "Well, I had gotten a physical, and they found blood in my stool." And they said, all right, well, send us a physical. And on the physical, I was vitamin D deficient, I had high cholesterol, I had gout, and some other stuff. And they said, well, you had all these pre-existing conditions, so we're dropping you. And I was like, motherfuckers. So a lot of those were because I was working night shift for a year and a half before that, and so of course I'm vitamin D deficient. I've been sitting in front of a computer for 12-hour shifts, 5 days a week. My body's falling apart. But those are lifestyle diseases, and now I'm fine. I'm on track. I'm good now. Now I'm more active. Now I'm getting sunlight. Now I'm normal. None of those markers are a problem anymore. My gout's under control. I'm not drinking. I'm not eating red meat, all that kind of stuff. So they didn't want to hear that. They don't care. And I'm done with them too. I'm not going to deal with them. But you can bring your insurance, is what I'm saying. You can bring your insurance overseas. Just be ready for them to cancel you for any kind of pre-existing condition. And be ready for them to have a maximum payout. So MaxiCare, that's the one I was thinking of that the kid's on. The kid gets a maximum of 150,000 pesos per year that he's covered, and it costs 30,000 pesos. So we're about to hit that maximum because he needs to get his tonsils out. So that's going to cost more than 150,000 pesos. So we're about to hit that. And also, MaxiCare did not cover the circumcision that he had. They consider that to be elective. They're not going to cover it. But PhilHealth covered it. Okay, so that was nice. He still could get PhilHealth through his dad. And so they submitted the paperwork to PhilHealth, and guess how much PhilHealth paid us? 2,000 pesos, $40. So went from 27,000 pesos to 25,000 pesos. So thanks a lot. But maybe that's the going rate for that procedure at a normal doctor's office where you're going into the chop shop. But we didn't do that. We went to a proper hospital. You got in the hospital gown. You went to a sterile area. You got chopped, and it was a good experience. Maybe they could do it for 2,000 down the road at the local chop shop. I don't know. Anyways, so be looking for that. I got a quote from MaxiCare for myself just to see how it looked, and they offered me their plan, no problem. It costs 50,000 pesos per year, which, okay, no problem. That sounds great. And it had a coverage maximum of 50,000 pesos. So guess what I did not do? I did not mess with them. They're selling nothing. So there's your example of healthcare insurance in the Philippines. Just plan on it being a scam. Being not a scam, but they're not really interested in your business. You're an older dude. Shit's gonna start falling apart. They're gonna offer you something, and it's gonna be a joke, something similar to that. So I used the self-pay option. That 4,000 that I paid in Turkey for the colonoscopy, I did the same thing here in the Philippines at the Clark Medical City, and it was a nice operation. They did a colonoscopy and an endoscopy, so they went up the butt and up the throat to check both of those, which they did not do for me in Turkey, and it cost me $1,500 US. So self-pay is what I'm doing. Same for my wife. We're self-pay on her too. She's got to go for an ultrasound, and that's going to be 5,000 pesos for that ultrasound. She's got a lump that she wants to get looked at. So I think it's 5,000. It might even be 3,000. I also got a CT scan while I was here because they found a spot on my liver when I did the wellness check. They have a wellness check at the hospital, so it's much more involved than you get in the U.S. with a physical where you give your blood and the doctor looks at you for 5 minutes and has you turn your head and cough. They do stool sample, blood sample, urine sample, chest x-ray, ultrasound of your abdomen, and they said, all right, well, you got a little bit of fatty liver going on, and there's a spot on your liver we want to look at. So Go in, you talk to a liver specialist at that hospital. It costs 1,000 pesos, so $20. And she says, all right, we don't know what this spot is. It's 1 centimeter. It's nothing, nothing big, but we want to get you a CT scan. So they send me in for a CT scan, and that cost 15,000 pesos for that CT scan. So I pay for that, no problem, no big deal. So then they did the CT scan. They didn't even see the spot on the CT scan, but they told me I had degenerative discs and enlarged prostate and whatever other crap they want to find. They found other things, is what I'm saying. They didn't find any spot on the liver. So they're going to continue to monitor that, no big deal. Because of the gout, I've had to shut down my drinking anyways, especially beer. If I have more than 3 beers, I'm walking with a limp for a week. That's just the way it is. So, but physical fitness, activity, all that plays a role too. So, I don't care about drinking. I don't need to be drinking. Nothing good's coming from drinking. Although it's cheap as hell to drink here. If you want to drink, you can do it for super cheap. Get you a bottle of gin for $1 and you'll be hammered. You will be hammered on that. And you'll be paying for it the next day because it's absolute garbage. But besides the fact that expect to self-pay, there are insurances here that you can deal with, but don't expect much, at least from my experience. Maybe some other people have better experiences, but I'm okay with self-paying. I don't like insurances. I don't like insurances for any reason. I've had car insurance since I was 16. Guess how many wrecks I've been in? None. So I've been paying into car insurance since I was 16. I could have bought 5 cars by now for what I've spent on insurance. And that's what they're hoping for. If you're a generally healthy person with no major issues, you're going to have a heart attack. You probably die here, okay? That's just the way it is. They're not going to put you on life support and keep you on life support indefinitely like they would in the West. They don't think like that, okay? People live, people die. You're going to get care, and you're not going to get brain surgery here. If you have a heart issue, you're not so well off here. I don't know if they do stents. I don't know what they do. Just don't come here if you're a mess, okay? Just don't come here if you're a mess. And if you are a mess, maybe you can get health insurance, but don't expect much. It's going to have a maximum payout, and you're going to hit that with the first serious thing, so you may as well be self-paying anyways. So that's my talk on that. You got no consumer protections here. Zero. That goes for car loans. That goes for medical situations. If you go to the hospital, you got to make sure that your wife or your significant other knows how to get hold of your money, because they're not going to do nothing for you. If you're incapacitated, they're not going to do nothing for you until they make sure that they can get paid. So keep that in mind. There's no assumption that you're going to be paying or that you've got insurance or whatever. There's none of that. You're going to pay. You're going to pay up front. They're going to make sure they get a card on file or you got some cash. Okay, so just keep that in mind. If you've got insurance, it's going to have a maximum. They're going to hit that immediately, and then you're going to be paying. So that's healthcare. That's insurance. Insurance is a Western thing. I mean, for the most part, the people here have super basic insurance. They might have PhilHealth with their job, but for the most part, people don't have anything. They go in there and they pay cash. And so that's how it's set up. It's set up to support those people. So that's another benefit of being an expat here with your currency and your country of choice. You can come here and you can pay local prices, but expect to get local levels of service, and that can go for anything. So there's your talk on that. Maybe you'll have a different experience than I had when it comes to insurance, but fuck insurance, man. Just do the thing that you're going to do. And don't be afraid to go to the doctor. If you need to go to the doctor, you can go down the street and go to your local doctor for 300 pesos. And then the pharmacies here, they've got basic drugs. They're all generic and they're cheap, super cheap. If you need to go to the hospital to see a specialist, you can see, like I said, a liver specialist for 1,000 pesos. You can see ear, nose, and throat for 1,000 pesos. The other day I got wax stuck in my ear because I stuck the Q-tip in too far, and pushed wax up against my eardrum, and I felt it close immediately. And I was like, ah, shit. So we were already headed to the hospital anyways for consultation for the kid on his circumcision. So I just popped into ear, nose, and throat. Didn't have an appointment. Popped in. He looked at my ear, saw the wax, cleaned it out, cleaned out the other ear, and he got me for 4,000 pesos, which is more than I expected, actually. But he used hospital equipment, and he used a little bit of expertise. So, you know, he had to get in there and get his extra money. So there you go. I was in and out in 30 minutes. And it's my own dumb fault for using Q-tips and pushing that wax up in there. So that's just another example. Like, it's no big deal here. You just go in there and take care of business. It's not like you want to delay it because you know it's going to be a massive bill, or you don't know how to work your health insurance and you got to go to this provider or that provider or this complicated bullshit or that complicated bullshit. It ain't complicated here. Just if you got something wrong with you, you go to the doctor and you pay $20 and you wait 15 minutes. It's not a whole big freaking ordeal like what you're used to. And if you're out in the province, okay, maybe it's more of a big deal. But if you're in somewhere where you got a decent hospital nearby, you're set. You're set. Don't be too far away from an airport. Don't be too far away from a decent hospital. That's my advice. And go in there. Get to know them. You know, go in there. Get a health eval. Get a wellness check. Get that wellness check once a year, once every other year. Better than you've probably ever gotten in America. It's pretty damn good. So it's the wellness check, I think, was 16,000 pesos, and well worth it. They'll find stuff. They'll find stuff, and you can be proactive about it. All right, so there you go. That's what I'm doing. Self-insured. That's the way to do it, at least for me. See y'all later. Like, comment, subscribe. What are you doing? What's the best thing? See ya.